Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're also paying our humble Dandavat Pranam to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for providing us this wonderful commentary and translation of Bhagavatam. Following the guidance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the guru of Srila Prabhupada and our Srila Sridhara Maharaja. Following his guidance, we are praying to Srimati Radharani. He said that without learning something about Srimati Radharani during our Bhagavatam study, then our study has been for waste. So with this in mind, we're praying. Yadi seva vanchitasya ma yasya kripaya vayam labema sarvam prapnuma prayojanam damni Shri Bhagavat Pade Krishna sambandhi sarvam cha yadina jani mahe tutam ashtadashasu sahasreshu shlokanam Bhagavat okishu vadharanim navindamatara nishphalam Bhagavat adhyayanam radhikaya kripam vina vyartasyat sarva parishrama. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Radharani within the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of Srimad Bhagavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Srimati Radharani, all of our efforts are in vain. So we are continuing our reading this morning from Canto 5, the creative impetus, chapter 1, the activities of Maharaj Priyavrata, text 37. Okay. Aho astvanu stitam yad abhiniveshitoham indriyar avidyarachita vishima vishayanta kupetad alam alam amusya vanitaya vinodam ragamam dig dig iti garhayam chakara. The king thus began criticizing himself. Alas, how condemned I have become because of my sense gratification. I have now fallen into material enjoyment, which is exactly like a covered well. I have had enough. I'm not going to enjoy any more. Just see how I have become like a dancing monkey in the hands of my wife. Because of this I am condemned. Purport. How condemned is the advancement of material knowledge can be understood from the behavior of Maharaj Priyavrata. He performed such wonderful acts as creating another sun which shined throughout the night and creating a chariot so great that its wheels formed vast oceans. These activities are so great that modern scientists cannot even imagine how such things can be done. Maharaj Priyavrata acted very wonderfully in the material field of activities, but because he was dealing in sense gratification, ruling his kingdom and dancing to the indications of his beautiful wife, he personally condemned himself. When we think about this example of Maharaj Priyavrata, we can just consider how degraded is the modern civilization of materialistic advancement. Modern so-called scientists and other materialists are very satisfied because they can construct great bridges, roads, and machines. But such activities are nothing comparable to those of Maharaj Priyavrata. If Maharaj Priyavrata could condemn himself, In spite of his wonderful activities, how condemned we are in our so-called advancement of material civilization. We can conclude that such advancement has nothing to do with the problems of the living entity entangled within this material world. Unfortunately, modern man does not understand his entanglement and how condemned he is, nor does he know what kind of body he is going to have in the next life. From a spiritual point of view, a great kingdom, beautiful wife, and wonderful material activities are all impediments to spiritual advancement. Maharaj Priyavrata had served the great sage Narada sincerely. Therefore, even though he had accepted material opulences, he could not be deviated from his own task. He again became Krishna conscious, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Neha Bikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo Navidyate Swapam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahatobhaya. In devotional service there is no loss or diminution, and even a small service rendered in devotional life is sufficient to save one from the greatest danger. Bhagavad Gita 2.40. Such renunciation as Maharaj Priyavrata's is possible only by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally, when people are powerful, or when they have a beautiful wife, a beautiful home, and material popularity, they become more and more entangled. Priyavrata Maharaj, however, having been completely trained by the great sage Narada, revived his Krishna consciousness in spite of all impediments. Text 38. Para devata prashadha dighatatma pratyabha marshan anu pravrittebhya putrebhya imam yatadayam vibhajya bhukta bhogam Shamahishim mritakam iva saha mahavibhutum apayaha swayam nihita nirvido prajigrihita hari viharanubhavo bhagavato naradasya paravim punar ivanu shasara. By the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaj Priyavrata reawakened to his senses. He divided all his earthly possessions among his obedient sons. He gave up everything, including his wife, with whom he had enjoyed so much sense gratification, and his great and opulent kingdom, and he completely renounced all attachment. His heart, having been cleansed, became a place of pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus he was able to return to the path of Krishna consciousness, spiritual life, and resume the position he had attained by the grace of the great Saint Narada. Purport. As enunciated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastakam, Cheto Darpanamarjanam Baba Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. As soon as one's heart is cleansed, the blazing fire of material existence is immediately extinguished. Our hearts are meant for the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This means that one should be fully Krishna conscious, thinking of Krishna as he himself advises. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. This should be our only business. One whose heart is not clean cannot think of the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. But if one once again places the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his heart, he very easily becomes qualified to renounce material attachment. Mayavadi philosophers, yogis, and jnanis try to give up this material world simply by saying Brahma Satyam Jagad Mithya. This world is false, there is no use of it, let us take to Brahman. Such theoretical knowledge will not help us. If we believe that Brahman is the real truth, we have to place within our hearts the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, as Maharaj Ambarish did. Savai Mana Krishna Pararavindayo. One has to fix the lotus feet of the Lord within his heart. Then he gets the strength to be freed from material entanglement. Maharaj Priyavrata was able to give up his opulent kingdom, and he also gave up the association of his beautiful wife as if she were a dead body. However beautiful one's wife and however attractive her bodily features, one is no longer interested in her when her body is dead. We praise a beautiful woman for her body, but that same body, when bereft of a spirit soul, is no longer interesting to any lusty man. Maharaj Priyavrata was so strong by the grace of the Lord that even though his beautiful wife was alive, he could give up her association exactly like one who is forced to give up the association of a dead wife. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Natanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadish Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Avatat Bhaktir Ahoitu Ki Tvai. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. For one who desires to advance in spiritual life, attachment to material opulence and attachment to a beautiful wife are two great impediments. Such attachments are condemned even more than suicide. Therefore, anyone desiring to cross beyond material nescience must, by the grace of Krishna, be freed from attachment to women and money. When Maharaj Priyavrata became completely free from these attachments, he could again peacefully follow the principles instructed by the great sage Narada. Text 39. Tasyaha bha ite shloka Priyavrata kritam karma konu kuryad vinishparam yonemi nimnar akaroksha chayam ganan shapta varhidin. There are many famous verses regarding Maharaj Priyavrata's activities. Purport: no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead could do what Maharaj Priyavrata has done. Maharaj Priyavrata dissipated the darkness of night, and with the rims of his great chariot he excavated 7 oceans. There are many excellent verses famous all over the world concerning the activities of Maharaj Priyavrata. He is so celebrated that his activities are compared to those of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes, a sincere servant and devotee of the Lord is also called Bhagavan. Sri Narada is called Bhagavan, and Lord Shiva and Vyasadeva are also sometimes called Bhagavan. This designation, Bhagavan, is sometimes conferred upon a pure devotee by the grace of the Lord so that he will be very highly esteemed. Maharaj Priyavrata was such a devotee. Text 40. Bhusamstanam kritam yena saridgiri vanadibi shimacha bhuta nirvrittai dvipe dvipe vibhagasha. To stop the quarreling among different peoples, Maharaj Priyavrata marked boundaries at rivers and at the edges of mountains and forests so that no one would trespass upon another's property. Purport: the example set by Maharaj Priyavrata in marking off different states is still followed. As indicated here, different classes of men are destined to live in different areas, and therefore the boundaries of various tracts of land which are described here as islands should be defined by different rivers, forests, and hills. This is also mentioned in relation to Maharaj Prithu, who was born from the dead body of his father by the manipulation of great sages. Maharaj Prithu's father was very sinful, and therefore a black man called Nishada was first born from his dead body. The Nishada race was given a place in the forest because by nature they are thieves and rogues. As the animals are given places in various forests and hills, Men who are like animals are also destined to live there. One cannot be promoted to civilized life unless one comes to Krishna consciousness, for by nature one is destined to live in a particular situation according to one's karma in association with the modes of nature. If men want to live in harmony and peace, they must take to Krishna consciousness, for they cannot achieve the highest standard while absorbed in the bodily concept of life. Mahārāja Priyavrata divided the surface of the globe into different islands so that each class of men would live peacefully and not clash with the others. The modern idea of nationhood has gradually developed from the divisions made by Mahārāja Priyavrata. Text. We'll continue here from text 41 on Monday. So we'll conclude for today. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Dev, Srila Acharya Dev Ki Jai, Sri Rupa Nuga
Jai,
Bhagavad Ki Jai.
Jai,
Glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhakti Veda Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai,
Jai Navadutam Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham
Jai, Jai,
Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath
Jai,
Baladev Srivadu Ju Ki Jai. Ganga
Jai,
Mai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai.
Jai, Jai,
Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri
Jai,
Govardhan Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Sham
Jai,
Kund Radha Kund Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti
Jai,
Devi Devi Ki Jai. Jai
Jai,
Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
Jai,
Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Scientific Sankirtan
Jai,
Yagya Ki Jai. Princeton
Jai,
Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya
Jai,
Saraswati Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur.
Jai.
Hari Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Srimati Uma Devi Dasi Ki Jai.
Jai Gurudev. Sripad Krishna Keshav Prabhu ji ki jai.
Gurudev.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.